I'm watching a kid who can't shoot fall in love with shooting threes. He's falling in love with shooting threes. For what? Why are you shooting so many threes when you can't shoot? Nobody's respecting your three-point ability. And why isn't JJ Redick snatching him out the game and giving him an earful and say, run for layups? Bronny is not getting treated like a normal rookie last year and a now second-year player. For those of you who whine and cry in the chat because somebody is saying something about a 21-year-old professional that y'all want to treat like a baby because of his daddy and his name, and y'all want to fake like this is about black power, when y'all have no problem destroying Anthony Bennett, Kwame Brown, Russell Westbrook, Oliver Candy, and anybody else not named LeBron and Bronny. So save all that somebody's hating, save all that somebody's jealous, save all that crap. This guy is a summer league player at best.
Kwame Brown reacts to Bronny James shooting 1 for 12 in the preseason. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
But yeah, they need to trade Dalton Knecht, because why would Dalton Knecht want to play for a team that's been trying to trade him since last year? Can you imagine how much mental problems and mental stuff Dalton Knecht is going to go through, knowing that he's a proven player, knowing that he was proven in college, well, he's more proven than Bronny, knowing that he's a proven seasoned player in college, knowing that he showed flashes of being a good young prospect, knowing that his NBA career could have taken a different turn, could have probably even been in conversations with Rookie of the Year if he could have kept playing. Not very good on defense, but can finish at the basket, can shoot the three, and is a big guy, a pro that you can actually develop. But here it is, now he knows, just like a lot of other players realize, that sometimes the politics just don't have you in the cards. And unfortunately for Dalton Knecht, and Bronny and LeBron is showing y'all, he giving y'all a master class on classism. And this is not nepotism. There's not a kid in the league that can go 1 for 12 and stay on a roster spot when you got Russell Westbrook still out on and not on somebody's team.
Yeah, that's real talk. Dalton Knecht days in LA, they're numbered. I don't think he's going to last too long there. And it's unfortunate. The whole entire organization, as far as the young guys, they're worried about Bronny. When you have a Dalton that has all the potential in the world to be a good 3-and-D type of player, but again, you want to worry about Bronny, what you're going to do with him. Of course, Luka is Luka, LeBron is LeBron, but if you got a Dalton Knecht, you can't just give up on a young guy like that. And if you're going to give up on him, trade him as soon as possible. So, he just happened to fall into the Lakers while they had Bronny and LeBron, of course. They're going to do what he wants, and Dalton Knecht is on the outside looking in. It is what it is, man. Stay strong, brother. You're going to be all right. Continue to ball out when you get your opportunity. But they're just worried about Bronny James right now. They need to trade Dalton Knecht ASAP.
Russell Westbrook averaged what? Who knows? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he averaged double digits last year on limited minutes. That's somebody that can get you into a certain situation in the playoffs. Like, I don't get it. What is Bronny going to do during the season? What position is he going to play? I just don't get it. This kid does not. Let's get into Bronny James and what I saw. What I saw is a kid that needs to get away from his father. I saw a kid that needs to get away from his father and actually be around young players and actually give it a real shot around people that's going to be able to judge him based on him being a young player. He plays like a 23rd or 23-year veteran in the league, and he hasn't done jack shit.
Yeah, Bronny definitely needs to get away from the Lakers, get away from Bron. But when you say it like that, unfortunately, the haters are going to come out. They're going to be like, how could you say that? He's a good parent. They're just going to move the goalposts for LeBron and Bronny. But Kwame speaking real talk. When you're under that infrastructure around your peoples, you're not going to really shine like how you're supposed to shine. So if Bronny has that potential that everybody's talking about, it may not be on the Lakers. Think about it if he went to one of those bad teams like Utah, the Charlotte Hornets. Like, you name a bad team that players can play a lot, build up their value, and potentially trade them. Or maybe they can have an opportunity elsewhere. But when he's under LeBron, LeBron when he's in that Lakers infrastructure, when you got people kissing his feet, when he can't even score 2 to 3 points per season, it's smoke and mirrors. It's not real. Bronny needs to lead the Lakers, but unfortunately, LeBron, he's worried about his legacy, playing with his son, which is cool, but you're really hurting Bronny in the process by trying to boost up your legacy in that documentary after you retire.
I'm watching a kid who can't shoot fall in love with shooting threes. He's falling in love with shooting threes. For what? Why are you shooting so many threes when you can't shoot? Nobody's respecting your three-point ability. There's times that Bronny James could drive to the basket or run for layups. He's running to shoot threes. I just don't understand how that makes sense. And why isn't JJ Redick snatching him out the game and giving him an earful and say, run for layups? Bronny is not getting treated like a normal rookie last year and a now second-year player.
Yeah, he's not really being coached like that. Unfortunately, you can't coach Bronny because if you do, LeBron's going to feel a certain way. He still has a little bit of power in media, in the NBA, and the Lakers. Not as much as it was before Luka got there, but, he can still stand on business. So if you're yelling at Bronny, think about the optics. Then his puppet Rich Paul's going to have to come out there and make some statement on Twitter X or Instagram like, don't be fooled. People are going to hate on it. JJ Redick wasn't bashing Bronny. So you really can't coach Bronny because of LeBron James. That's just what it is. So I believe once LeBron leaves the Lakers, Bronny's going to lead the Lakers. Or maybe they'll honor that, 2 years left on his contract. But either way, after that contract is up, you won't have to worry about a player that you can't coach and you can officially run the team. So not saying JJ Redick is the best coach ever. He still is a podcaster. He's doing his thing. He's trying, but he's not going to be able to coach every player on a coaching level as long as his father is there. It ain't going to happen. Remember, they bashed LeVar Ball for that. If they're going to get the Ball brothers, you're going to have LeVar Ball making comments. It's the same thing with LeBron, but he's an active player.
We should have seen some improvements by now. And Bronny, what I think your problem is psychological. Because you knew you weren't prepared for the league, and because of whatever pressure you want to claim that it's your daddy, it's not about his daddy. He plays well in summer league. He plays well in environments where he feels comfortable. He does not feel comfortable in the Lakers gym. All of a sudden, a kid that can shoot good in practice, that can shoot good in summer league, when he goes to LA, all of a sudden he can't hit the broadside of a barn. This is psychological with him. This is all mental.
Yeah, that's a good point. When he was in the G League, they thought he was a Hall of Famer, an MVP, a GOAT. When he steps on the NBA floor, even in garbage minutes or when you don't have, first string players playing, he's playing against players that won't be in the league, especially in the preseason. So if he can't play up to that level of competition, he can't be a rotational player. You can't put Bronny out there during the regular season when Luka's on the bench or LeBron's on the bench or you're playing your second unit. He's not even good enough to play against the second unit, let alone playing against players in the preseason or the summer league. So I don't know what they're going to do with Bronny. Well, they know what they have to do with Bronny, but the Lakers don't want to look like the bad guys, but they got the new ownership. They're going to start standing on business, and this whole thing where you're drafting your son and you're drafting family members, it ain't going to happen. They got to be able to coach a team equally. They can't do that if LeBron's there. So Bronny, step your game up because after that contract, once your dad leaves the NBA, it may be over for you.
You wish you was his daddy? No, I don't wish I was his daddy. You probably wish you was his daddy, but I don't wish I was his daddy. No. Just listen and shut up and don't talk while a grown professional is talking again. Don't say dumb stuff, man. If you're going to troll responsibly. Talk about the basketball take that I'm giving. Don't get personal because I'm not getting personal. I saw a game. I'm responding to the game. If you don't like it, I need you to get out of my chat until maybe tomorrow when I'm not talking about somebody you like. But put your Keisha up and stop telling me what to say, all right?
You see how the trolls come after you? You can't say anything about Bronny. All of a sudden, they're going to troll you. You want to be his pops or, you're going to have those LeBron fanatics that are going to go all out, that are going to crash out on people, giving real criticism. There's a lot of trolling out there. There's a lot of people making jokes. But when Kwame keeps it real, you still got those haters out there. You still got those stands out there that are going to say a lot of negative things. But if they really pay attention and listen, he's spitting real game right now, but they don't want to hear that. You can't go at the King LeBron and the Prince Bronny James.
That's not what we do over here. You don't know Jack Judy about basketball. I'm watching a kid that they say is a defensive specialist, and they run the simple handoff at the 3-point line. This guy is not a streaky. This guy is not a shooter that he's guarding. The Suns is a horrible team, and I watched Bronny James chase the guy around the top of the 3-point line, and the guy get a backdoor layup, and everybody looking at the other players, Aiden and everybody else, instead of saying, Bronny, you slide right through and meet him and do not go. If he stopped behind the pick, then we get Aiden or one of those bigs to get a hand up. But you go through the pick. You don't go around and let a guy get a layup. You don't be in help position at the nail when you got a shooter behind the 3-point line and Dalton Knecht and everybody is there already. What are you doing? For people that are saying that he's a defensive specialist, how?
Yeah, I don't see no defensive specialist. That's what they want him to be just because of his build and maybe some potential in the dream world. But in reality, he's just a player that shouldn't be in the NBA, should be in college. The things he was doing in the G League, he could build his confidence up like that in college. But again, LeBron James, worried about his legacy right now, trying to put his people on, which are cool, but he's working on that documentary, his version of The Last Dance. The last few seasons of his career, getting Bronny in the league, is just going to make the optics look better. But LeBron knows that Bronny shouldn't be in the league, should be in college, but they jumped the gun, had an opportunity to get him in the league, which they did. Congrats to him, but he doesn't need to be in the NBA. He can't play defense. He can't shoot. He can't play amongst equal level competition. The G League, that's cool, but think about it. Players over there either going to be overseas or working a regular job. So, man, it is what it is, man. Bronny looking terrible out there, but you can't keep it real because of LeBron James.
He don't even know regular defensive concepts. This is not college. You can't go all the way down to the free throw line with these pros. You can't do that. It's ball you man. You either one pass away, two passes away. If it ain't Kyle Korver or one of these catch lights out shooters, then you slide through and you trust that your big gonna get a hand up. So for those of you who whine and cry in the chat because somebody is saying something about a 21-year-old professional that y'all want to treat like a baby because of his daddy and his name, and y'all want to fake like this is about black power, when y'all have no problem destroying Anthony Bennett, Kwame Brown, Russell Westbrook, Oliver Candy, and anybody else not named LeBron and Bronny. So save all that somebody's hating, save all that somebody's jealous, save all that crap. Nobody wants.
Yeah, Bronny's the media darling because of the greatness of LeBron James. And that's cool if you want to put it that way. But again, you should be able to critique Bronny. He's not like a player in high school or little league where you got to let him grow and can't be extra critical on him. He's a public player in the NBA, grown man, on a team, the Lakers. So what do you expect? Yeah, he's the 55th pick, but think about how he got into the league. Think about who his pops is. So again, the media, they're going to try their best to protect Bronny, but what's going to be the media narrative 2 years from now when Bronny may not be in the league, or maybe he can turn it around? Not wishing on the downfall of Bronny, but we keeping it real in the moment. In the moment, Bronny James, not a good player, shouldn't be in the NBA, should be in college, should have stayed in college and built his game up. Think about if he put those numbers up like he did in the G League in his second or third year in college. The optics would have been different. His confidence would have been much higher. But pulling him out of college just for your legacy, if you're LeBron, it was a bad move.
You're trading away players that can actually play for Homelander Jr., who can't play a lick. This guy is a summer league player at best. He was featured yesterday. This guy was featured in a summer league game where he didn't even deserve. Do you know how hard it is to get 12 shots in a summer league game? No, you don't. Obviously you don't, because none of y'all have played NBA basketball. But let me tell you what a summer league or a preseason game is like when somebody's not featuring you and you don't have a coach giving a second string or a second round pick 12 shots in a damn preseason game trying to make sure he can shoot his way to a headline. Well, obviously that didn't work. And 12 shots for a kid that's not going to shoot like that in the game, that's terrible. Bronny James got to work on being able to hit an open shot, not dribbling the ball like he's some type of hot shot guard, because that's not what he's going to do when he's playing with the starters. When he's playing with the starters, if he ever plays with the starters, he's going to be an in the corner catch and shoot player or out at the wing catch and shoot player. I don't know why, because he can't seem to shoot, but What he needs to do is get away from his father, work on running the floor. You are young. Run for layups. If Bronny run for layups, then it would make the game easier for him. But for whatever reason, I guess because he's standing there and shoot threes with his daddy in practice all day, and there's nobody in the stands, so he's gonna make threes in practice. He ain't no goddamn 3D player.
That's what it is. You're much more confident when the cameras aren't on or it's an empty gym. You're around your people, it's around your pops. Yeah, your confidence is at an all-time high. But when something's on the line and you're playing in front of a crowd and the media's going to break it down, Bronny's showing that he's weak as far as his confidence. So if he don't got that confidence, his game isn't developed, it's going to be a struggle for Bronny James. But again, by him shooting 12 shots, chucking up all those threes, they were hoping for a moment, hoping that all the work that he put in would actually show out there in the actual game, even in the preseason game. But it didn't show up. Bronny is struggling, shouldn't be in the NBA. But if you keep it real with Bronny, you're going to look like the bad guy. Shout out to Kwame Brown for standing on business and letting it be known his real critiques of Bronny. No hating, but unfortunately, the media is going to paint it that way.